Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with the M.
AMC.
Listen, we're just going to jump into it. T, a couple of days ago, sent me, we were going back and forth on some issues we see on IG. There's always some fuck shit on IG and TikTok and all them other places. And she sent me something that was very interesting and it stuck with me. I said, so we're going to do this particular podcast about what she said. And I was just talking about how messed up a lot of women are, and yeah, men too, but particularly women. They're really messed up on a lot of things. And she said this: it's okay for the woman to be broke, but not broken. That made me do like a hmm, never thought about it like that before. So we're gonna talk about how y'all women got so broken. Who the hell broke y'all? Who raised y'all? Y'all got bad mamas, bad aunties. Why women so broken nowadays, T? Why?
First of all, I don't know why the women are so broken. But if we can back them up, let's let them know exactly what we're responding to, right? I think you sent me something that said, why would men want to pick a broke ass woman up or something like that? And
Yes.
it's nothing wrong with picking up a broke woman, right? It's something
Hmm.
wrong with picking up a broken woman, in response to how men and women um relate to each other. Um, but I don't know why the women are broken. I just know that as a man, you don't need her to be financially all the way together in order for you to start up something with her, right? And to get the ball rolling. You just
Hmm.
need her to be all the way together, mentally stable, right? Mentally sound, responsible, someone who has good ethics. You just need a decent person. Now,
Yeah.
why that decency is not there? Come on. Come on.
Yeah, and you know what? I have my views on why a lot of women are broken.
Mhm.
Um, and to me, with everything, since we first started the podcast, we always go back to this: personal accountability. Nobody wants to. They talk about accountability. We talk about accountability and ownership all the goddamn time. But when it comes to putting it in play, it seems like women don't really. It seems they're following the leader. And it's like you find these women who telling you don't need a man, you need to be independent, you need to be this, you need that. But yet, if I'm not mistaken, to a lot of these women they listen to got husbands,
Mhm.
got families. They ain't out here struggling looking for a dude. They got a dude. He home. But they
Mhm.
telling all the other women, you can be independent and all this, and they running around like, yeah, you're right about that. I can be independent, and I deserve to get what I want. And truthfully, everybody should get the person that they desire. Everyone needs to be happy. Everyone should have happiness in their life. But realistically, T, women gotta be realistic and look at themselves and see what are you offering. Because we keep talking about what I bring to the table. Men are supposed to bring cash to the table because outside of cash, y'all don't really want men like that. Y'all only care about the money.
Well, no, outside of cash for a man, right? What value does a man have for himself, like to build himself up to prove, the things that he needs, like his own self worth? Like that's extremely important for a man on his own. Like when he internalizes who he is and how strong he is, the amount that he's able to bring to the household, it means a lot. So even outside of what we're looking for in a man, what a man needs from himself, he needs to
Very
be able
true.
to, bring home something that's meaning that he can take care of his family, his household, which is money.
That's a very true statement. And if you, and by saying that, that also goes back to a conversation we had many, many months ago about how a lot of men are set up for failure in society.
Yeah.
Because as you just said, money is an important thing. And for men, that's kind of like we tie that to our wealth or to our self worth.
Yeah.
If you ain't got no money, then you feel like I'm a broke ass motherfucker, and you just they take it hard. Like I'm broke.
Yeah, y'all take it real hard.
Yes, it's like you get depressed. You don't want to talk to nobody.
Oh,
Now, as long as you're making that money, you all good. You out there flashing and
house. Yeah. You helping
Brennan.
people. You need help, brother? What? I got you. I got it for everybody. I got it. You,
Yeah, I
yeah,
whole
I
table.
got
Oh,
it.
don't even worry about it. I put on my black card. I'm good.
That's right.
Lose that job, black card gone, everything else gone. You're in the house moping. Nobody haven't seen you in months. Like, what? Where my boy at? Oh, I heard he lost his job. Damn. And now we have to recreate ourselves, reinvent ourselves to get that money.
Yeah.
But if you're brought up in such a way that you don't have the necessities internally or given to you internally to not just mope when shit happens, because shit gonna happen to everybody. It's life. You're gonna have ups and downs, ebbs and flows all the goddamn time. But what you can't do is the first sign of something happening, you lost your job, all of a sudden you're a puddle on the floor. You're just a ice cube just melting. You can't do that. So my question is, who's raising these men to give them the intestinal fortitude in order to know shit's going to happen and know that, oh, I'm going to bounce back? So to me, it seems like it starts when they're growing up. And if they don't have a complete family, meaning their father's not involved and the mom is raising them, then what is the mama giving to these men that the fathers who aren't there ain't giving to them to help them to get over that thing? So they feel you, you feel less than if you don't have a job. So I guess,
What woman gonna teach that? Because a woman don't feel less than when she has a job.
aha, there
Yeah.
you go. So you're
That.
you're absolutely right, and that's what I want you to say. So that's why it's so important. Women, you had these babies by men, obviously, unless you did something else, but more likely you had it by a man. This is why it behooves you to try, unless again, if he's an abuser or anything like that, then I understand why he's not in your life. But if this is a guy who, yeah, you thought y'all was gonna be together, y'all was gonna work it out, you had this kid, had to pick a fence and all that bullshit, it didn't work out. He left you on the sidelines, moved on with your probably your girlfriend or one of your friends and moved on. You still have to be mature enough to say, you know what, he did me wrong, but damn it, we have kids here. I need him to be here to raise this boy because I don't know how to raise a man. I can raise a kid, I can nurture him and all that, but when it comes to boys, they need role models. They need somebody to show them that all they're more. They can't be more than just a paycheck, or just make sure as long as you're paying for women, that makes you a somebody. But if you're not paying for them, then you're a bum. So that means the two who had a kid have to make sure and come with a plan on raising these boys, or you're going to continue what we're seeing and what you just said. Men lose their job, they have no vision, they have no direction, and no one taught them how to how to
It's
live their life after that.
it's called coping mechanisms, technically. The boys don't really have a lot of coping mechanisms because a lot of the coping mechanisms that you get from the household, a mom can't teach you as a boy, how to cope with the things that you're going through. So, yeah, the fact that the men, you know, are distant for several different reasons, and there are moms to blame for the, boys being distant, but, you know, the males are to blame as well. They choose to be distant because being distant for a lot of men is easier. Sending a check only, that's easier for a lot of men. So a lot of men themselves are just as much to blame because they've taken it's just like the woman being mad, being mad is easy. It's easier than getting over the hurt and have to get along with a person who you feel like has disrespected you, who disappointed you, who has let you down, the person that has sworn, when you lay down together that this was going to be your forever person. It's easier to just let that go and walk away and try to close the door than to have to get over certain hurdles and co-parent. So it's really both parties there that just suck. Your poor parents. And it's not
Yes.
like and the woman, your natural job in life is to foster, in my opinion, every relationship, that comes about with the child. That first relationship being you foster the one between you and the child, the mother and the child. The next relationship is you're then there to foster that relationship between the father and the child, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
relationship that comes thereafter, whether it be, the interactions between siblings, whether it be the interactions between grandparents, the interactions between aunts and uncles, you're the one who allowed these relationships to technically exist, whether we want to, believe it or not, the mother is the one who is the first person who is responsible for fostering those relationships. And then when the mother falls short of fostering those proper relationships, that's when other people start to step in, right? That's when you see
Mm-hmm.
stepping in saying, no, I need to see my grandchildren because this is not right. And it's not to say that what grandma's doing is right. She's basically saying that the mom's responsibility and roles are not being met, because if they were being met, then you would make sure that I would have access to have a relationship with this child that is my blood. The same thing with the son. Whether or not he's a dirtbag or a piece of shit, you're like, that window should be open, whether you have to put parameters to protect, the children there, or buffers or whatever you want to call it, because maybe they're young and maybe they're wishy-washy, but still that's their person, that's their dad. You still have to open that up and figure out in what capacity of a relationship can I help foster um for my children, because internally it is your job. You're the first person who's able to do it, and people start stepping in when they see that, hey, you're not doing that. And it's just like when a male provides for his family, right? We're expected for the first person to provide for this woman and this child, because after she has the baby, she can't provide for herself at that point. It's a very vulnerable space. And so when he doesn't, provide for the woman and the child in that space, that's when people start to intervene and say, hold on, something's not right here. Like, what are you doing? You be doing C and X, Y, and Z. And so those are like our first roles in the situation. And then when we're just falling short of that, you suck. And it's not to say that you have to suck forever, because we're gonna all fall short, especially being parents, right?
Yep.
Especially when we talk about being in relationships to, a husband or a wife, or, just any type of long-term relationship, you're gonna suck at some point. And the job is just to not suck for too long, right? If
Yep.
you sucked when your children were like 0 to 6 months, you can kind of get away with that. Like, don't nobody remember all that.
That's true. That's so damn true.
You can tighten it up, right? Mom's postpartum depression, that can go on for, even up to a year, I think. Maybe sometimes longer than that. Um,
Wow.
I mean, postpartum, yeah, you can really be going through it for some time after, having a child, and it can turn into other things after that. So you kind of suck as a mom right there. You suck to yourself and to your kids, but guess what? That's going to only be temporary. Just
Yep.
because you suck now doesn't mean that you have to keep that up. We all kind of sit in a space of what I'm going to call dirt baggery, like I mean, it's just no other word to put it. You are being a dirt bag. Sis, you done dropped the kids off to your mom's house for 3 months and you didn't check in on them. Talking about some girl, I'm about to go get me some cigarettes. Where you been at for 3 months later? Where? Where have you been? You know what I'm saying? The man
That's true.
dropped off one box of diapers over the first year. What are you doing? And you know damn well that baby needed more than one box of diapers. One box and one. You know how many women out here say that man only dropped me off one box of diapers and it's been a whole year? That's dirty. There are no explanations, no reasons, no rationale other than how's being a dirtbag. And the
Just like
best
that term.
you can is tighten it up and try to not be as big of a dirtbag as you move on. And then it get tighter because children are forgiving.
Yes, they are. They really are.
So the idea that we keep treating them this way and raising them in these situations where it's only 18 years, you know, and I say like it's only 18 because that 18 years is fast. It's almost like lightning.
It is.
And
You
I
look up,
just
you can
say,
walk, they're crawling, they're shitting on you,
yeah,
and next thing you know, they're graduating. They're gonna
yeah,
go to college.
yeah, they're out of there. They are gone. And we're sitting here arguing over the most precious moments of your kids' life. These are some of our best friends is these children. These children are awesome. You're missing out on your nieces. You're missing out on on your nephews. These are some of your best friends as they get older. They're awesome, and
They
you're
are.
treating them like they're such a burden. And it's not that they're a burden, they're just new and they just don't sit right inside of your regular program. You got to do a little adjusting. It'll be worth it. It'll be
It,
worth it to raise these people properly.
you're absolutely right. It's a fact. Um, we think of them as an afterthought, and we feed them, clothe them, give them the basic. They'll work itself. They'll work themselves out. That doesn't happen. You have to give them guidance. You have to show them the way, because they're gonna learn one way or the other. You're either
Yeah.
gonna learn from your actions or your lack of actions, and that's gonna dictate how they're gonna choose to see the world or their adulthood when they get of age. And
Mm-hmm.
people kill me when they say this shit. I didn't raise them that way.
Yes, you
Well, you
did.
did.
Because you're racing with always.
Exactly. And I'm like, the fuck? Yeah. And of course, if you're from the outside seeing, you're like, oh, we see when you're a parent, when we get our dirt baggery, some of us, you start to realize certain things you just can't do, certain things you just had to be there for,
Mm-hmm.
and you just can't let it slide, or you just can't push it off on someone else. You can't push it off of the school, the church, your grandparents, your other relatives. It's your kid. You
Yeah.
had that kid. And that's when, as a parent, you got to take responsibility because if you don't, then you start seeing what we're seeing on the internet. You're like, who the hell raised her? Who the hell raised him? And it really is just a combination of bad parenting or not going out, never leaving your dirt baggery, just staying in there because it's an easy thing. It's
Yeah,
easy for you.
it's easy because what ends up happening as a parent is the one thing that it forces you to do is to tighten up, right? Now, if you wanted to kind of just linger at the end of the night and kind of do nothing after work, you kind of can't just do the nothing because now you have to cook, now you have to clean, now you have to help the kids with their studies, now you have to drill them on their school words, and you know that if you're not reading with those kids every night, if you're not doing those spelling words with those kids every night, if you're not doing those things and hitting those markers in the evenings, making sure chores are done, you understand that you're sculpting your kids still, right? It might
Hmm.
be the best way, but you're still sculpting them and giving them um, a lesson, and it's not going to be the strongest one. So as they grow up and you're like, what happened? What happened is that you had to tighten up in order to tighten your kids up. It wasn't enough to just lead by what you say. You had to lead by example. So you had to also get up. And you had to enforce what you said. You couldn't just say, hey, clean the bathroom. You had to get up and enforce that the bathroom was cleaned and make sure that it was done right. Uh,
Hmm.
and in a lot of households, that's why you see the trends. A lot of the guys are talking about how the women's houses on um, Instagram, men walking into women's dirty homes and it's clothes everywhere and laundry everywhere and the kids' rooms be dirty.
Let me tell you, T, that's some trifling shit. That really is. I mean, again, when I was growing up, that's just certain decorum. Like, I remember the house always had to be clean. I don't give a shit. You put your clothes away. Do all, especially if somebody gonna come to your house, and somebody come to your house and shit all over the place. You're
Well,
like, no, keep that
you
shit
know, we
clean.
associated a dirty home with being poor. It was like a standard in life, right? And so if you came to somebody's home, it was a dirty home, it was normally because they were kind of, downtrodden a little bit. And so, in order to make sure your house didn't feel poor, you made sure that your house was extremely tidy because on the other end of the spectrum, that meant you was poor. But nowadays, There's no shame. Poor isn't like something you're shamed with anymore, right? So the standards are all over the place because she can have, like a $1,200 handbag but still be inside of a dirty home. And it's weird concepts going on out here. But the good part is that the man did say that he would still, lay down with the woman even though the house was dirty. He just wasn't gonna spend the night.
And you know what? And that's some trifling shit too. I was gonna say it.
He kept it
First of
though. He kept it real. The point though is if you're in your dirt baggery phase, no matter what it looks like, you don't have to stay in it. So, like, if you have a ton of laundry in your house, maybe do one or two loads, right? Tighten it up. Have the kids help you fold up the clothes because you didn't make this mess all alone, right? Put
yep.
yourself on a timer. You have to do certain stuff in order to make a change. You can't do the same things and think that a change is going to come. If you bought diapers this month as a man, put on a calendar, like an alarm. Next month, pick up another box of diapers. I mean, and it could be this, and then maybe when you're in that store, you be like, you know what? I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper and I'm gonna add some wipes on top of these diapers because I really actually don't go and change any of these diapers. So the least I could do is make sure the person who's changing the diapers have some plenty of wipes. And slowly but surely, as you start trying to come up off this dirt baggery, you might become enlightened. Like as you're buying diapers for an infant, as the infant becomes a toddler, you might realize, shoot, this toddler's pretty cool. Let me hang out with this toddler. And then you'll be hanging out with your toddler and realize that you want to drop money on your toddler, same way you wanted to drop money on a woman. You'd be like, this is a weird but dope relationship. You're going to come out of your dirt baggery just a little bit by little bit. You just got to start and try.
And I love that. That
Hmm.
that right there, guys. It He telling you just the little things because I guess what a lot of people feel, what a lot of guys don't think like how important. You've seen T on IG, the babies. They don't like the mamas, but if the father come up with their hands, they'll come hug the father, or if the mama hug the father, they slap the mama hand like get off him. That's my daddy.
Yeah.
That just tells you how important that you are in these kids' lives. Men, you are very important because again, those kids are run to love you unconditionally. You could be a dirt bag, a scumbag, or the best father in the world. They don't know. All they know is this my daddy. He's
Yeah.
here. I love him unconditionally. And that's unconditional love. You ain't gotta pay for that love. There ain't no love that is like, oh, once you're gonna love me tomorrow. They're gonna love you every day
Hmm.
they see you. But they gotta see you.
Too, past the disappointment. So even if you disappoint your child, they're still there to love you and love you past, another piece of your another moment of your dirt baggery in your life. Like we're going to miss the marker and we're going to miss it a lot as good parents, as parents who suck, whatever you want to label it as. If you're a parent, you're going to miss the marker. I don't care how you doing this thing called parenting. You're going
Yes.
it, but you have to try to hit it. Like just keep on going. That's all. That's all.
Because and now while you're doing that, you now these kids are learning. They're
Hmm.
learning like parents ain't perfect. And
Hmm.
no parent's perfect. I mean, we all try our damnedest and we drop the ball somehow, some way. As long as you give the effort, I have to commend you. But if you give no effort and you wonder, oh well, how this end up? The hell? You didn't do shit.
Or false effort. See, that's another.
Oh,
Like, don't be on no bullshit, okay? Because that's a level of dirt baggery that it's hard to move from that shit. Because if you don't know that, if you're not honest about what you're doing, then you really can't move from it. So if you honestly know that you called out of work several times over, the last month or two, and you just didn't give a shit about work and your paycheck fell short, and then you telling your kid that, yo, I was really trying to get this for you though. No, you wasn't. That's bull. Like, don't let's not bullshit ourselves and children, right? If you
yep.
honestly want to do something and you came up short with it, we're gonna handle it. We're gonna get over it, and we're gonna strive to continue to get it, for the next marker. But bullshitting the children. is stupid, and they will forgive you even for the bullshit, but it's like you might end up being just a bullshit ass parent, and the kids can tell that too.
Yes, they can, and then you're surprised when they don't fuck with you when you grow up. Like I told you, I've heard a lot of stories. My son going to college, kids who graduated. So I didn't tell my parents I was graduating. I'm like, what the fuck? And they're like, no, because we don't really have a relationship. They treated me bad. When I was living there, they treated me bad my entire life. I don't want them to be part of this. I knew kids who literally was like, they graduated that Sunday and was moving with their best friend the very next day because they didn't want to go back home. They put the shit in stores and went and lived with their friends until they found a job or whatever, and never told the parents they fucking graduated from college. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, god damn. And now those kids they're grown. So now they make a decision. They're like, the fuckery you did before, I didn't know, but now I know it was fuckery, and I knew it was fuckery back then. I
Yeah,
choose not to deal with the fuckery, which means I choose not to deal with you, the
yeah,
parent,
and that's
either or.
yeah, that's the bullshitting parent, right? Who you kind
Yep.
of with me like, but instead of you just being genuine, then you bullshitted me on so many levels. Mm-hmm.
And it's sad because now, based on how you raise that kid, then that's the impression they're going to have moving forward in getting into relationships. Because if you they were always didn't trust, because the worst thing is you couldn't trust your parents. You can't trust your parents. Right there, that starts off a whole set of shit that it's going to take you some therapy,
Yeah.
some lot of shit to get over. But along that way, though, T, a lot of those people end up getting into relationships and having kids. And I tell you, one guy sent something in to me which was interesting. He said, I had a kid because I finally knew how it felt to love something, because I never felt that love in my life. My parents never gave me love. They always treat me like shit. I made the best I could of my life, and I realized that I needed something to love. So I
Mm.
went. I got a woman pregnant, and I love the kid unconditionally. It didn't work out for us, but I'm always there for the kid.
Oh wow.
And I was like, wow. And I responded back to him. I said, that's one. I'm glad you're working out with your kid. I said, but next time, don't have any more kids until you get your shit straight. Get a dog. If that's because you need some love, you got your kid, get a dog. But don't bring anybody in here that you're just trying to use as a crutch for your own emotional issues,
Mm-hmm.
because that kid is going to live and survive and thrive based on how you treat them. Granted, you may treat them well. And how do you and the mother get along? And it sounded like to me, it was kind of like, oh, I'm going to have sex with you, have a baby by you, and if, I don't even care as long as I
Yeah,
had the baby.
how the mom is going to um internalize this feeling, right? And the type of environment that she's going to be able to create for my child underneath these feelings, right? It's irresponsible to move like that. And some men, like I understand that they move like that, but to not be able to admit that it's an irresponsible move is just a bizarre concept. Like duh. Like, you don't think that the hurt woman, what you think she was going to create a home that was super happy out of hurt? Like, that's a weird, why would you want your kid to be in a household filled with hurt? Like, or struggle to get out of hurt? That's a weird concept that men would want that. Then they think that that's not going to affect their child.
And again, in their head, it satisfies them. So
Hmm.
again, that's a selfish thing. Like, it always satisfied me, but not looking at the totality of the woman and the child. Because again, T, as you know, you see it, you talk to women all the time. Women seem never to get over that relationship that a kid came out of, because they're pretty much stuck with that guy for the rest of their life. Even though it didn't work out for them, it's almost, and then to see the guy go and get married and have a kid by somebody else, and he living a beautiful life and kind of sending money to you, that's a hurt that women have. And
Yeah,
women said that to me too.
yeah, but I think what ends up happening is that these people end up playing with them the most. Right. They don't just like, we just had a one good night stand and I told you kind of what it is. They kind of, they really do the most. They really lay down with you, whisper sweet nothings in your ear, lead you to believe that, we're going to settle down and grow something from this. And then boom, they didn't disappear. See you in 2 weeks. And then you're like, what? I'm 4 months pregnant. Like, I'm 6 months pregnant. You just told, like, why did you lay down with me and tell me like because it was feeling good to him. So now he just, diarrhea of the mouth. You don't know what he's saying because that, thing felt like it's something he ain't never even touched before. You don't know what he doing now. So now he's speaking in words that he don't really actually mean, you know, and you just keep dogging her out, and because she's so, vulnerable, she's open. She's like, well, this is your baby. Who else I'm supposed to be laying down with? And I want to be touched because my body is going all over the place. So it's hard to stay protected, when you're pregnant by somebody who really doesn't want you, because you really want somebody and you really want to be wanted in that point. Like, it's a very vulnerable space for a woman. Um, and so when you're not able to create those boundaries, that person ends up playing with those people like the most. And they don't ever really want to admit to that level of dirtbaggery. Like, that's just straight up dirtbag shit. You
Yep.
know, you really just played around. You knew you had no intentions on sticking around. You didn't want nothing with that woman other than, to just sloppily lay your seed there. And if that shit sold itself, then it sold itself. And if not, then you was gonna be willing to kick rocks. Um, so yeah,
Damn.
that's why I think those ones, like, they really play with those women, and their their accountability. The women just really feel like sometimes they just never, those men just never are, held quite accountable to the level that they feel, whole on. And he is not about him holding how he treated you, how, being accountable for how he treated you, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
getting over grasping the concept that this is what's happened to me, right? And now I'm gonna have to work to kind of get over to that which has happened to me, and wherever I did or did not protect myself at, I forgive myself for that, and I'm moving the hell on, because this nigga's a clown, right? He can never be
Yep.
or less than a clown. And if he goes to the next relationship, understand that he's gonna show up there as a clown too. Just inside of your face, they both know to keep the face together. As to that, now he don't look like a clown in front of you, because
Mm-hmm.
that, there's no way in the world that he just showed up clowning with you and he's showing up as the best, guy for her. I don't care if they out on vacations. I don't care if they buying properties. He is a straight clown and playing with that next woman, all the same. And that's the part that really grinds women's gears. It's like, you think that he's being the best guy for the next woman. He not. She's just able to deal with him and keep her household all the way together. He's willing to stick around there because there's some things in order that he likes, that kind of marked off his boxes. So he sticks around there. He's still showing up as a clown. I don't care if they married or not. You know, jokeable joke.
And that's true. And the other thing, T, that all these fools fail to realize, just because you no longer are dating the woman he had a baby by, doesn't mean that you all of a sudden just move on like, oop, I have a new relationship. No, fool, you did leave a baby there. So regardless of how you got there, you have a baby. It's your responsibility to take care of that baby. And a lot of guys, oh, she want my money and all this. And I tell them, I said, listen, this is certain things avoidable. Um, you can't get pregnant unless you're fucking her. If you're not fucking her with no protection, the likelihood of you getting her pregnant is pretty high. Even if you have two rubbers, she got IUV and spermicide up in her. There's still a possibility you getting her pregnant because nothing is 100% foolproof. So when you play that game of love, in the game of banging, that's one of the things that happen. You can have a baby. So at that point, you can't just say, "Oh shit," "Oh my bad." No, you're physically, emotionally, and financially are responsible for that kid, and you got to be there. And it's best to be there on your own. You don't want to really have the man in your pockets, but that's what has to happen in a lot of cases. A lot of some women send stuff to and say, "I try to work with him, try to come with a deal with him," and he was like, "You taking too much money out of me, and why does the baby need that much?" First of all, motherfucker, if you ain't taking care of a kid, there's no way you know how much it is to take care of a kid. There's no way.
Well, here's the bottom line with that part. If you're dealing with a man who's playing like in the rat race, It's always going to be too much money to take out of his household to go to things that he doesn't, can't see nothing tangible for, right? He can't
Yep.
hold things. So you're going to always have a problem with that type. Like the problem I have is the child support movement where everybody's banding together, like all the men are sitting together and they don't all deserve to sit together. Okay. The
Yep.
guys in the rat race who are flat out like just $300 a month. What? Excuse me. In 2024, you're crying over what? Like I
Please.
be the judge because I done tore everybody up. Okay. Some of these men will have to get more jobs. No. You need to go and
God damn.
pay somewhere because I can't lower this minimum, sir. Not in 2024. Absolutely not. Absolutely
No.
not. Like it's getting weird out here for the men to think that they should not financially consistently take care of their kids on time. That's the
I,
part that kills me because some of them will play around with your money. Like, oh, I send it to you on the first and the fifth or the 15th. Oh, just give me a minute. I give you a minute. Give
baby
you
eats every day.
a
Baby
minute.
got clothes every day. Come on now.
It's a crazy concept. And we have to understand that we're sitting in a level of dirtbaggery like that, right? That's where you're at. Because if the child was inside of your care, you by default you would have to make that thing happen. And the fact that you're looking for somebody to kind of help supplement what you already are making happen, just to make the burden just a little lighter, because money can't lighten too much of the single parents weight, right? It can't
Hmm.
lighten but so much, right? Money not waking up in the middle of the night. Money don't wipe no bottoms. Money's not shouting out the clothes, and money's not going up and down the stairs trying to do the laundry. Um,
Nope.
but the things that money does lighten up, it'd be grateful and nice to allow that to lighten up that load in whatever areas that it could. Um, it's just a level of dirtbaggery that's like, no, you gotta understand that that's some dirtbag stuff. Maybe you young, maybe you not used to your money going, outside of women to date. Maybe you realize that paying for your child cuts in the monies that you have for dating, or maybe you can't get that car that you thought you was gonna upgrade because you thought you was gonna upgrade the type of women that you attracted. You know, I don't know, but I do know that that child that you lay down created. Nah, that was your stuff. Went up in there, boom, 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 had a whole party, swam around, found one joint, cracked it open, and that's your baby. That's your bonded situation. Nothing you can say about that. You have to financially support that child. And if it was me, I'd be out here trying to enforce all types of crazy stuff on moms and dads. No, you need to absolutely show up 2 days per week and have to do an after school activity, dinner at your house. You name it. But you cannot just send a check. I'd be putting people in jail left and right. Oh my goodness.
You would.
My goodness.
You would too. Because
Yeah,
you are you serious about
no
that shit?
way that you think that you pouring into a kid with just a check. Oh, I don't want my kids to see their father because of are them kids in harm's way? No, no, we're not going to keep children away from their daddies. They got soccer practice to go to. They got football practice to head to. They got tutoring. Them kids will see you after dinner tonight. Like no, because when you allow people to stay away like that, you get used to staying away. And as those kids get older, you as an adult, it seems like it's harder for you to talk to a 10-year old than it is to talk to a 4-year old, right?
Yep.
And so those relationships are harder. They're less relatable. They're not growing with you. So you don't, oh, I remember when this person loved Blues Clues and then, they loved, all this Sonic and then they loved, the next big thing. And you kind of grow with them and you know that person and it's easy to be around that person. Your child
Yep.
enough. It's easy for you to be around them. But when you don't know them, that blood connection it's like a stranger. Some of these men are out with strangers that they call their daughters or their sons, and that doesn't feel good.
Oh God, no, no. I've seen that. I've
Yeah,
seen it. You've seen it. It's not pretty. I mean,
it's not
'cause
hard to be relatable to people that you just don't know, right?
yes, you don't know them. They're your they're your father, they're your mother, but you don't. There's no connection there. And
Mm-hmm.
now and it's not the kid. I've heard a lot of guys say, "Oh well, he can call me or she can reach out to me." First of all, motherfucker, you're the parent. It's your responsibility to reach out to your kid, not your kid reaching out to you. Well, my phone was off. You could have called my mama and all this. Speaking of, one guy sent something to me. And I ain't gonna say his name, but he said something to me. He's like, "Man, it's hard here with these kids, man." He said, I got my mama helping them." Okay, here's first of all, men, don't have your fucking mama paying your child support. Your mama was in there fucking her when you had the baby. Don't have your mama paying your child support to keep your ass out of jail. Man, the fuck up. That I had to say that because when he said that, I'm like, why your mama out here giving you money or paying for your child support? Because I'm in between jobs. You ain't got time for in between shit. You got time to stay your ass on the job all the time, take care of your responsibilities. Come on, now. Come on. I was like, come on, man. Fuck out of here with that shit. And he said like, well, she tried to help me out. And I responded back to him. I said, how many kids you got? I got 4 kids.
Yeah.
Negro, you got 4 kids your mama paying for? And he
Um,
said, yeah. And she only got to pay $15 a week for them for 4 kids.
and and in,
$15 a week.
and in his mind, he has rationalized that this is okay because if he parts with anything more than the $15 per kid, it's going to now he's uncomfortable now, right? Because he already don't have enough money to do the things that he feels like he wants to do. Buy a bottle of whatever, go out and hang out with whoever, maybe wine and dine a woman, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
already in a situation.
Mm.
He's third baggery and he's sitting there and he's acting like he doesn't see it. You see it when you have someone else be responsible for your financial obligation, right? When
Yes.
has to be responsible for your financial obligation that you've created, you have to understand that that's a level of dirtbaggery and your lack of willingness to kind of get up out of that. That's shitty. You stuck as a person. That's all. And again, you don't have to suck forever. You know,
No.
it's just that you have to understand that while you're doing that, you know, you suck.
Exactly. And it's crazy. And I'm like, okay. And I'm just in my head, like, I don't know how the hell you can ever get that situation because those are 4 kids you got to take care of until they're 18. And you better hope your mama live long enough to help you pay that $15 and shit per week for those 4 kids and shit. And it's just like, this is how these kids get fucked up. This is how they get fucked up. Do you have a relationship with them? No, the mamas won't let me see them. Again, I understand why they wouldn't let you see them. That's
Hmm.
that's understandable. But it's time for people to start to be accountable for your shit.
But you have to. Some of these men have to be inched, and that's what I mean when I say, they bring a bag of diapers one month, maybe the next month, maybe diapers and wipes, right? They
Hmm.
inched along little by little. You have to understand that you probably laid down with a guy who's a dirtbag and you knew it when you was laying down with him. So the idea that he's going to wake up and off the jump just rise to the occasion of taking proper responsibility of your children, you knew that that too was going to be false. And so, and whatever, capacity that he's able to show up in those moments, that is safe, I think you have to allow it because he needs to be inched along. Like he too is growing up now. And
Hmm.
don't allow them into the situations or you block them from accessing their children. They just keep a constant excuse on why they're not um, being a part of something. So when a guy sees their child grow from 0 to 5 and you have them doing, even if it's just like the bare minimum. Can you bring the waters to the birthday party just because you don't want them to mess it up, and give them something to mess up? Can you
Yeah.
just put us to the birthday party, right? So then
Hmm.
one, he brings the water, right? And then year two, oh, he brings, maybe a balloon bouquet because now he's like, he's gonna go to Party City and get his daughter a little balloon bouquet. So now he's got a little bragging rights going. And then year three for the birthday party, can you at least just give me $75 to the birthday party? The birthday card party costs way more than $300-400, but you didn't ask this man for the bare minimum, 75 damn dollars, right? So boom, year three, he gave you just a little bit, right? It's not enough. We know it's not enough. It's not enough, ladies. We know it, but you knew that this man wasn't an enough type of man when you laid down with him.
Oh,
What
damn.
I'm saying is, as you are inching him along, a lot of men, by the time they come to year five, they're going to see that smile on that child's face. They're going to understand the relationship that they do have with their kid. And they're going to start to value that person for a person, for their person, hopefully. And they're going to start feeling like, nah, you know what? I have been there for my child. No, I was there for every birthday party. What you talking about? I am a dad. And because they're going to start feeling like they have been a dad, then hopefully they'll feel like they can continue now to be a father, as opposed to getting the first introduction with their kid at 5 when you no longer bitter, and now they don't know that kid like that. You know?
Hello. And yeah, and you said something that I had to come back to. Why would a woman fuck with a guy and know he's a dirtbag or know that he's not
I
the kind of guy that you
was,
should be fucking with?
I was dragged. Did you only hang out with these types even when you drunk or sober? Like it's gonna be, come on.
Oh, damn.
And guys are masters of deception too. Like they not worth shit, but they try to lead you to believe that they could possibly be worth something. You know that they're lying, but women, we love to believe the lie. That's just the rule. We love to believe it. We love a good story. You know it's true. So when you being silly, you're like, oh, what? You do what? You do music where? Yeah. Nah, you try to hang out with him. You don't do no damn music nowhere. He's a bum. Stop playing. He's a bum. You're a bum. Y'all both in y'all bum stages, maybe. I don't know why you would play with these types. But what I do know is there's a plethora of reasons. And some of them say, like, I have been in several groups on Facebook. Apparently the bums know how to do it the best. That's awesome. So maybe you've been dealing with guys who were, they were just subpar in the bedroom. And you was like,
Oh, no.
apparently the less they have, the more they can give in the bedroom. That's just word on the street. That's just all I just didn't know that you were allowing them to leave something behind. That's just the weird part to me. I just didn't know you would allow them to leave something behind.
That's what I'm saying. You could bag him all day. Just make sure that motherfucker's put on double whatever he gotta
Yeah.
wear.
Or protect your own self. Put it on your side. Like, don't we have the female ones that go inside, and then I think there's like a spermicide, and then I think we have a diaphragm, and that's outside of the IUDs and the birth control. Let's probably protect yourself as a woman, just so we're clear. Just
Girl,
so
I'm with you. Hey, I'm with you. Because goddamn, it's not help. Only person you're hurting in the end are those babies that come out these relationships. They're the ones that you hurt. And then the other part that gets crazy to me, I think I sent you this lady who had 7 kids by 6 different dudes. She said, I'm still looking for my right guy. Come on, G. 7 kids.
was she safe? I mean, like,
She can't. I can't say she saved them goodies for that right guy. She didn't do that.
oh, did I see that? What was she saying? She had called into some show and she was saying she had tried like 2 years to get through to her show. And she was like, what you mean you got a 2-year-old kid? But did she tell why she had so many baby daddies and children?
It was kind of, she said it was bad decisions and it didn't work out, but now she's ready. She thinks she's ready for that guy. And
Okay.
of course, the other guy who was doing the narrating was like, "Lady, you got 7 kids by 6 different dudes.
I
Ain't
mean,
nobody looking for you."
well, either way, if she gonna find somebody, maybe he got, like a lot of kids too, and they gonna create. I don't know, cause what she certainly not about to get a single man to come in, cause we already talked about that. No, they're not doing it. They don't. They are allowed to have a personal preference. Yes, they are.
That's exactly right,
They
and that's
not
the thing we talked about. We said they want the 666, 6 feet, 6 figures, and the 6 pack.
dang.
Well,
That's what I call
oh, they call it 666. Oh yeah, they talk about I need six
it.
feet
Yes,
tall, 6 figure man, and a 6 pack.
I
And I'm
like.
thinking,
I
damn,
like it. Why not?
T,
Why not?
you can ask for and wish for anything you want. The reality is, where are you when you're asking for this? If you're 21, 20, I'm gonna say this: if you're a 30-some-year-old young lady who has no kids, you got your shit tight, you got degrees, you got a great job, you got your own house, your own car, you can say this because a guy like that is looking for a chick like you because you got your own shit and you look a little pretty. That's fine because overall prettiness is finite. Characters forever is infinite. So if that's the case, then I'm gonna rock with you. We're gonna go out. We may fuck around, have a kid, and get married. That may happen. But what you can't do is be a chick. Oh, I'm gonna say 30 with 3 kids, 3 different baby daddies, and talk about that's what you want. You may want that again. You may want that. The likelihood you getting that guy is not that great. It's gonna be a guy out there. You get to search through all the
He might
hay to find that nigga.
have 7. He might. What's wrong with the 5'11" brothers? What happened to the 5'10"s? Y'all don't like them? I mean, they taller than us. Dang.
Yes,
I
that's
mean,
it.
you can't even be 5'11".
Nope.
Wow, that's
Got to be
great.
6 feet, six figures, and 6 pack. And you're right. Why
Wow.
can't the guy be 5'10", 5'11"? Maybe he makes 70,000 a year.
I
Maybe he got dad bob. He may not have kids, but he just got a little gut.
think
Why I gotta be perfect?
got what? Second blind.
Baby, he ain't in the gym all, all the time. Getting that working on that body. He just got a little pudge right here and
I
there.
understand the six pack. I mean, I'm not anti six pack, but since when the six pack on a man was a rule breaker? Like, where in
It,
the
they
hell
want a guy who's in great shape. Basically, that's what
are
they're
you
saying.
a gym rat?
Hmm. Because
That's
that's pretty much what you're
right.
looking for, a gym rat.
They be thoughts.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Hmm. I see him in the gym all the time. The dudes in the mirror posing and shit and taking the clothes off and they try and impress the other women who barely got anything on. It's some funny shit. I'm like, both of y'all some fucking narcissistic motherfuckers in here taking pictures of themselves and looking at each other. And I'm like, y'all couldn't even be together because y'all would love yourselves more than you love the person you're trying to date.
Oh, that's facts. That's facts.
So that
They
that is
don't even bother each other. They just look at each other because they already know what it is.
they
That-
know what it's about. And I'm just and the other thing, T, I'm just so beside myself about eliminating guys that don't make $100,000 a year. As I said before, there ain't but 4% of black dudes who make over 100,000 a year. Four, not 40, not 50, 4%. So it's like playing musical chairs, 100 women and 4 chairs.
You heard me? I'm over here like 4%. Like, you sure?
If I'm not mistaken, it's 4%. And I'll look for sure and then just add it when I put this podcast up. But I'm pretty sure it's 4% of black men that make over 100,000.
Okay.
So again, you're playing 100 women, 4 fucking chairs. When the music stops, only 4 women going to be able to sit in that chair. The other 96 going to be had to go look at the other chair that's dealing with the other people who are making 6 figures. Not I mean 7 or 5 figures, not six
Yeah,
figures.
making
So,
like
but I'm thinking You want a guy who will take care of you if you're sick. You want a guy who's going to take care and rock with you if you have no money, if you lost your job. That guy making 70,000 will damn sure take care of you quicker than that motherfucker that makes a $500,000. If he makes $500,000, you ain't got no money coming in, and you had money when you first came in. Shit, you're gonna make sure you get the hell out. Mm-mm. I ain't
Um,
taking your ass.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
I, and again, you got to be relatable to each other, right? Where you come from playing with Mr. Half a Million, like where y'all know each other from? Because if you're not relatable, then you could enjoy the lifestyle, but are you truly happy with him? And maybe you are, maybe you're a little shallower than others, but there are people who some people are just not relatable, and money's just not enough to um to make that forever situation work. Like a little, you can spend a little year or two or three there, have a little fun, but not that might not be a forever situation. And I think a lot of people, not people, but a lot of women, um, who have dated, men who are high earners can, definitely recall that, maybe they didn't make them feel the most special, right?
Huh?
Like, or he just wasn't very relatable, or he didn't have a lot of time, or he didn't give me a lot of attention because he actually didn't have a lot of time or attention to give, or it was hard for me to excite him because he's already kind of done it all. Um, and it's hard to get like close to someone who's like that. And so to create fun, it's just like it doesn't feel deep. It feels a little more superficial. And so it's like, do I want this to be my forever guy? Is this Prince Charming? Is this what happily ever after looks like? I don't think so. So you can't just show up for money. That's
Nope.
crazy. That is
No.
crazy. And saying that you're not going to mess with somebody who don't make more than six figures, and those type of men do not surround you. Because I'm like,
Hello.
who don't. That's the weird part. But I know those men work real hard for theirs. That's the other part.
Exactly. See, if you know them like we do, we know how they operate. We know the most operandi because again, it's a different world that you couldn't fit in because when you call them, I'm lonely. Those motherfuckers are on a business deal. They're working. They're
Oh,
constantly
they
trying.
going to sleep. You love, bitch. Why wasn't you been over here? What you talking about? No, I'm tired. No, because we're not. They're not chasing it. See, you got to call little Brokey. And he not broke for forever. But he just is not sitting where the other man is sitting. I mean, he might get up and come run for the cat, depending, how you feeling. But you're dealing with a different type of guy, and so like their thirst for certain things is not going to be the same, especially that older man, because it's when a lot of men get a little bit older that they start making that type of money. And you young and you silly and you want it all and you want it right now, but you got to be careful because again, men be masters of deception, leading you to believe, but they never did say how much money they make, but they led you to believe that they make a lot of money. So you thought that you was about to lay down, let him shoot up the club and keep his baby. Bitch, he is broke.
Surprise!
You stupid with the surprise. Oh my goodness. How sweet. And truthfully, to the male side of it, they be like, I never told you where I worked at. I never told you how much money I made. I never told you these things. I never signed up for this.
That is true.
And
That is so true.
no, but he didn't. And then you be sitting there talking to your girl, be like, bitch, but he really never did tell me that stuff. Like, I don't know where I made up in my, but you should have seen the shoes he came through with on, and girl, in that chain. Oh my goodness. And like that haircut, that was $1,000 shape up that man had that day. Sometimes the man can be so mesmerizing. You done took a regular shape up and swore up and down that it had gold around it. Like that trusted that thing and diamonds when they come out of those barbershops. Please don't ever meet a man like on a Saturday, fresh out, after the beauty shop barber situation.
Yes.
They'll take your whole breath away. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. It makes women delusional sometimes in the beginning. That's why you can't go off of stuff in the beginning. Give it a little bit to die down, like that feel good movie.
There you go. Let the adrenaline taper a little bit, and then you can take your emotions out of it and then start putting some logic in it to really
Yeah,
look and ask those questions. Because and here's another quick thing. We was down in Fort Lauderdale, was at a cigar bar, and the lady was telling me how the women down there go to the cigar bars. She said they all look alike. She said they all got Botox. She said down in Florida they start Botox at 16.
yeah.
I was like, huh? She said, yeah, 16. She said, on Fridays, during the weekends, you'll see them in here. She said, they all look alike. And I saw quite a few of them in there, and they look like the kind of girls that the Passport Brothers would love. They were all Cuban. They were all from the islands. They're all beautiful women. This was on Sunday. Beautiful. She said, they all look like that. She said, and they lived all together to try to save the money to look as pretty as possible so you can get that Mr. Right. I said,
Mm,
what? She said, yeah, they want to get a guy with money because it's close to Miami. So they try to go to Miami, get that scene, try to hook that guy up. And I
okay.
said, that is weird. She said, yeah, but a lot of people are about to show. She said, that's why this place in Fort Lauderdale had a lot of plastic surgery places. And I said,
Yeah.
why the fuck they got so many plastic surgery? She said, because a lot of people get it here and go to Miami. Miami is so saturated with uh, plastic uh, surgery people that they came up to Fort Lauderdale and another place to get the surgery done, then go back down there. It's cheaper. And she said some women will work and save money for years to get plastic surgery, either on their butt, their breasts, or their face.
Hmm.
And they're not even, she said, and they're in their 20s. Not,
Yeah.
they're not in their 30s or 40s. She said a lot, they're in their 20s trying to get that guy. And she said, these guys don't even look at him like that. She said, because you're a dime a dozen. She said, you're pretty, you're pretty, you're pretty, you're pretty. So
Oh,
what's the difference between all the prettiness? And
yeah.
I said the same thing. I said, you don't really know who they are. They just, they look good. And if I'm a guy making money, whoever looks the best, you got me for the day. But I'm not going to want to put a baby on you or in you. I want you to involve my life like that. Why? Because you were with all the other grapes. I just plucked you off the grape, one of the little grapes off the damn bunch. So and nobody's serious. She says it's all superficial. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. But that's what a lot of women are doing. And I'm thinking, what happened to him to get to this point that I'm gonna get a guy based on how I look and hopefully he'll love me for who I am. It never works that way. Never works that way. That's a fuck total, but
I'm
it
a
never works that way.
guy based off of how I look, and hopefully he loves me for who I am. Is that what you just
Yeah, because he loved me, then he can learn to love who I am. Now, thinking that he gonna waste all his time because you look good to really figure you out and talk to you and find out what your dreams and hopes and aspirations are. That motherfucker ain't doing that. If he's rolling like that, you're a pass through. You're something for the weekend. You're something for the weeknight. You're something for that day.
said? Into nowhere.
Yes. Yes. And I'm thinking, and again, it goes back to the question I asked at the beginning, like, who the fuck is raising these kids? Who the fuck is raising these young ladies to a
This,
point where it's like, you
this,
better ride your looking to the end, bitch. You better get
this
that guy.
concept.
It's crazy.
It's like a princess. Like, my godmother's gonna come dress me up. The godmother's the surgeon. Okay. I'm
Mhm.
Cinderella. I'm gonna go find Prince Charming, because I'm dressed up now and I'm beautiful now, so he can see me now. Because before, when I was in tattered and torn up clothes, right, the prince couldn't see me. That's what the movie taught us. But
Yeah.
as soon as I got all whisked up and beautiful, right, and
Mm-hmm.
twirl, don't forget to do a twirl.
Got to
Um,
twirl.
Got a twirl. Then all of a sudden, Prince Charming, he could see me and my beauty, and maybe I had to sing a song for him, but that was plenty enough, right? He could see that the beauty was just enough, and he's basically gonna give me half the kingdom after this, like just off the smile, just off the
Yes.
smile alone. He didn't even care that I had a gap. He's Prince Charming. He was like, "Let's go with it." Like, let me bring her to the kingdom, introduce her to the family, and as long as you got cleaned up and pretty, that was good enough. That's the Disney concept. That's what it's taught us. As
Absolutely.
right.
Yes.
If when you're tattered and torn, because I think maybe she was outside, Cinderella was outside and she was feeding the, the animals, and she's in like her little dress down gear, right? And no
Hmm.
one's ever in the dress down gear, right? I think in several of the Disney movies, like Snow White, when she's tattered and torn up.
Yep.
And nobody sees these people. The prince never comes and gets these women until they look like something. Yeah. So I
Yep.
think it's the concept.
And that's crazy though. And what that's doing, T, is putting all these other women, and you know them, very good women, hardworking women, beautiful women, got the shit going on. But the problem is you get meshed in with all the other fake ass chicks. Because again, if you're pretty and they're pretty, and unless they talk to you, unless there's something that the guy gets to, she's a different type of pretty, and talk to you, then you're like, oh shit, she got shit going on. She really got something going on. I can see us building an empire together. But until that, you're just another pretty face in the crowd until otherwise
I
found out.
I think also we're getting away from how we used to meet the mate, right? I think Instagram had this one post going where it had like a moving bar graph that showed you over the years how people would meet their mates. And
Mm-hmm.
number one for a long time was like a family. So I'd assume it mean like a family friend, right?
Yep.
Family must have introduced you to someone outside of the family, right? And we're going to assume that if you were introduced like that, right, it's a little bit of a backing to that
Yep.
introduction, right? People in your family actually know and trusted the person who you were introduced to, and vice versa, right? So there could be a little bit more to kind of go off of. And also your interactions or your meetings wouldn't be as like superficial as are you taking me to Ruth's Chris on the first date type of thing. Maybe the first introduction was, hey, I'm inviting him over to Auntie's house, that'd kind of be like your first kind of,
Yep.
interaction out on the floor playing Twister with the 7 and 8 year olds. And, it's just going to be a totally different, interaction.
Yep.
Um, what was the next one? Friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
A friend of a friend,
Yep.
right? Friend of a friend kind of vouching for whoever they're, introducing to you, and vice versa. They vouch,
Mm-hmm.
and you could assume also that you would meet that person in a different setting also. Like, hey, come on over to the friend's house. We're gonna watch the fight. We're gonna have a fight party, and y'all can kind of, get to know each other. Hey, we having a crab gathering. Come on over. We all, sitting up eating seafood this weekend. Having a picnic or something like a
Yes.
setting. Um, versus when you're just kind of meeting random people, or even like your church group, right?
Yep.
You meet
Church. Yep.
payment is number three. Um, and then maybe school was number four,
Mm-hmm.
like the top four. But in all of those scenarios, it gave you the ability to kind of see people for their more like for real self, right? Because in school you're a little more vulnerable. You kids remember you doing the crazy stuff you did in third grade, or oh, I remember Sarah from sixth grade. She used to be the tall, silly girl who got tripped up and fell, whatever, whatever. They're gonna
Yep.
remember stuff like that, and like, oh, in that moment their heart got softer and they ran over to kind of catch me, but little stuff like that. And
That's true.
it kind of makes that grooming into a relationship just a little bit different than you getting to know a stranger, and then you're trying to vet that stranger to make sure you're protected and they're not taking advantage of you. And it's just a little bit different when you're trying to make something blossom from an absolute stranger who doesn't
That's
have
true.
on their behalf, and you have no history with that person. You don't remember seeing them in the hallways. You don't remember seeing them in church growing up. You don't know them. They're not a family friend. You never seen them come around your family before. So
Nope.
yeah,
And that's a very true statement, OT. And it's just we now have to, unlike before, we would just talk about how you used to meet people. Now it's a swipe, but you
yeah,
got to be deeper than the swipe. You have to do background checks. You got to, but that's all part of the new courting, and that's which people, oh my God, courting is that's such an old fashioned. But let me tell you, courting kept you with long term relationships and didn't have your ass out here with multiple babies by multiple dudes or
Hmm.
multiple baby mamas. But they got to do something because right now, as a whole, it's just looking crazy out here, just crazy. And again, I what are your suggestions to you when it comes to how single people should handle the dating world of today?
What are you trying to throw me in it? Oh.
Well, again, we don't understand. We don't. We've been out the game for years. You know, you've been married for forever. I've been married like forever. But I start to talk to a lot of young people, the young guys. They will say, "Hey, damn, how the hell you end up with Auntie for damn near over 30 some years?" I said, "Well, it's different time, different period." I said, "But for me, what you need to do," and I say it's to all men, don't date until you're ready. Don't date because your boy dating or you should have some out. You should be married or you have aunts. You should have a girlfriend. You should be having a kid. Fuck all that because your aunts and shit ain't gonna be paying for your kids. They ain't gonna be babysitting your kids. It's not gonna be bring them over and let me watch them. They ain't gonna do any of that shit. And if you're not ready for that, if you can't take care of yourself, you damn sure can't take care of a kid. I said so. Make sure at least you're just stable enough before you go out there and start to do some things. Because again, you may go out there and find a young lady. Something happens. Y'all get together and boom, she gets pregnant. You didn't expect it to happen. It just happened. So now you're like, you know what? I got to take care of this little one. And I tell them all, I don't give a fuck. That's your duty as a father to take care of your kid. I don't care. Be, adulting as they want to use. I'm adulting. Yes, adult your ass up and take care of your damn responsibilities so that you don't raise a broken child to be a broken child who's going to be another broken child who's going to have broken kids. That's what we're trying to eliminate broken fucking people. And at some point, you're going to become shattered. I said, so be man enough to understand. And I asked him, are you ready to raise a kid? Hell no, I ain't ready to raise no kids. That's a lot of responsibility. Exactly. So when you meet somebody, make sure it's clear to women too that you don't want that because a lot of women do want to have kids. And that's a lot of things that guys told me. A lot of women want to have kids.
Yeah.
If they fuck around and have a kid, okay. If the relationship don't work, okay. But at least I got a kid. But you
I'll,
can't do that.
I'll take my year back. Yeah, no, absolutely. I ain't heard that one. What?
Yes, I'm hearing some crazy shit when it comes to guys dating women because they get to a point, oh, I'm 25, I'm 26, I gotta have a baby before in my 30s, and if I don't have by my 30s, then the clock. And I'm thinking I tell them all, that's not your concern. Her clock is not your fucking concern. Your concern is, do you like her? Would you want to have a baby by her? Do you say, is this the type of chick you want to have a baby by? And all I'm saying, no, I can't think that far ahead. We don't have a baby by her. Because if you can't look at, I have a baby by her and be responsible, take care of it. Which sounds crazy to me, but a lot of guys say that shit. I can have a baby by her. Do you understand that everything goes along with him? So I have to have that whole walk him down the aisle. Like, oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, I know you didn't. So for guys, don't date unless you're psychologically, financially, emotionally ready for it. Outside those three, don't date shit. You go out and
That's,
have fun and do all that, but don't date.
that sounds like y'all not allowed. Then let's go back to some Bridgerton stuff. Nah, y'all not allowed to come out this season. Y'all not outside this season. No, it does cost. Um, but the idea that people want to date without the idea of creating solid relationships, I think that's just a weird concept to me. And it's not even like the guy who you seeing in college type of thing. Like
Hmm.
any. I'm not saying that you had to marry that person, but you should have a solid relationship with the person who you sleeping with. Um, and know exactly like what y'all are both doing. Like you don't know if you're laying down with the woman if she's on birth control. You don't know if y'all using condoms. Like having a baby is not by mistake. I understand what you're saying, but I teach the young ladies that listen, you lay down with a man part plus a woman part that are both naked and raw, like just bare. that equal like, a baby. That's the one plus the one equals the two. And
Yep.
so if you can't have basic conversations with these people, don't you good on that. Y'all good. You don't got to do it because y'all didn't build up anything. And just coming into the dating pool just to have sex, that's not the same. You're not like you don't just date people just to have sex with them. Most people date people to build something up and then to grow something from that. And if you can't build with that person, you let them go. You move on to the next person. But a lot of these young men, they have no intentions on being serious with anyone for the next shit. Coming at your 18, you probably think you're not going to get serious till you're 28. Get your cock out of the game, sir. Nothing else I can say. Because that's
Yes.
crazy that you want to hump around the dating pool, but you don't want to be responsible for anything else. You just want to
Yes.
have time. And even though sex is definitely a good time, it's not something that should be granted and just given to whoever, especially if just because you think you're a man, then you can just hump all over town. Like y'all done gave away the whole them damn empire. Now you got four kids, four baby mothers, and you mad at all of these women talking about they trying to take my money. No, they trying to have help raising those damn children. And now me and you get together, and now it's hard as hell for us to buy our first home together, let alone building an empire. You've spread the empire all around town. And that's
Mm,
the men as a whole. They ain't talking about how you done spread yourself all out. It's hard to build when you got your people all over. It's easy to build when all of your sons is under one roof and you taking care of them under one roof. They all eating off of one loaf of bread. You got four kids in four different households. You need to send a loaf to each one of those households and stop playing. That costs you much more. Y'all not building nothing and you have no intention to build. So if you're going to date with the intent to build something that makes sense. Don't date with the intent just to scar a girl or hurt a woman just because that was easy to do. And you also don't have to leave a relationship trying to put a hurt on somebody. That bit of normalization in our society is crazy. And we
mm.
really stop that. So if I was about jumping into the dating pool, it'd be that.
Girl, T, as always, you take everything and you take a whole ball of wax and you get it right down to a candle. And it's so true, y'all. The thing, as we said in the very beginning, you can date broke, can't date broken. And a lot of guys, a lot of people breaking people, and in the long run, we all suffer. And the world don't need more suffering than it's already going through. And more importantly, the kids suffer. And then they grow to become broken adults who continue the cycle. So with that, I'm gonna end this episode of On the Mic with the M.
And see,
Listen, y'all, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell button so you see the next episode is coming out. And until next time, people, peace and blessings.